always gotta get you out of trouble, don't I?
You whole?
I am. How'd it go with Baca?
We came to an understanding. He stayed dead, and I'd let him. Let's get back to Sammy's.
Can't even tell you how happy Pops is gonna be. Man, this shit with the Haitians has been weighing on him.
And with them out the way, things will calm down. Go back to the way they should be.
Been telling him for months we needed to do something like this, but Pops, I don't know. Sometimes I think he's lost the taste for this shit.
Just because a man don't rush to violence don't mean he lost something.
I know, just makes me wonder what happens after, you know?
No, I don't know. Explain it to me.
Don't matter if it's a bullet or the hand of God. We all go sometime, right?
I suppose. Ellis, we don't need to talk about...
I pray that Pops outlives the both of us. But if he doesn't, every motherfucker in the hollow's gonna be looking to us or gunning for us. Just saying we gotta be ready when that day comes.
Yeah, well, that's not something we gotta worry about right now. So just cool it with your grand plans, all right?
Yeah, all right.
So we are leaving the Haitian shantytown on our way back to the meetup with Sammy. So the game has been out for just over a week now. And earlier today, Rockstar teased images for an apparently new release of a Red Dead Redemption game. Now, both the Red Dead Redemption games and the Mafia games are published by 2K. No, excuse me, Take-Two Interactive. No, 2K, which is owned by Take-Two Interactive, so... I mean, I think Mafia 3 is going to be lost in the hype pretty soon. I'm still going to finish this game. I played to the end of the prologue, and one thing that kind of disappoints me, among other things, is how the landmark events of this period are just kind of glossed over. They don't really have any effect on the game itself. There's no missions involving, say, the assassination of Martin Luther King or the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy. And from what I can tell, there's nothing about the death of Ho Chi Minh or anything like that. In a preview video, one of the developers said that he chose, or the team chose this time period because of the landmark events. I mean, if you think about 1968, 1969, besides the events that I've mentioned, you've got the moon landing in July of 1969, and you've got the launch of ARPANET, which is the precursor of the internet, also in 1969.
The thing Lincoln didn't understand, or maybe want to understand, is that for a man like Sammy, there's always gonna be more Haitians. Now, if there wasn't someone going after Sammy, then there was someone else forcing him into a bad situation. It was never going to end. That's how Lincoln ended up working for Sal Marcano.
You were right about those Haitians being down by that old salt mine. They won't be bothering us again.
It was a mistake sending you down there. I should handle my own business.
This isn't any different than what I was doing before I left.
You probably don't know this. But every night on the TV, right after the news, they show the names of all the boys killed over there in Vietnam. I'd be sitting in the kitchen eating my supper, watching that list scroll by, wondering if today is the day I finally see your name.
But you never did. Nothing happened to me.
There's only so much luck down the well. Sooner or later, pull up that bucket, there's nothing in it.
So, what are we gonna do about Marcano?
Pay him his goddamn money one way or the other.
Lottery gonna be enough to cover it?
The lottery? No. But Sal called a bit ago. Wants you to meet him up the country club. Says he's got something in the works. Square things up between us.
The only black folk allowed in there to help.
Now, they may not like it, but they're not gonna say no to Sal Marcano. He says you get to come in, you get to come in.
Fine. Always did want to see the inside of that place.
You need to do whatever Sal asks, yeah? For all our sakes.
Yes, sir.
And so we are going to pay a visit to Sal Marcano at the Retruze Yacht Club. Now, going back to the landmark events that I was mentioning, I think that's kind of a missed opportunity. Just being able to reference real events with missions. So I've decided to change the driving style of the simulations just to give it a shot. And I have to say that the driving does feel pretty good in this game, even on normal setting. Looks like we have a lot of distance to cover. 2,400 meters. I haven't played the previous Mafia games, but that's one thing that I've read about them, is that there's a lot of just traveling, and based on some of the complaints that I've read online, it seems a lot of people are disappointed that there's no fast travel, and I can see why that would be disappointing, especially later in the game. For now, I think it's pretty cool, just going through, seeing the scenery in New Bordeaux. Although I have to say, it does seem to be pretty sparsely populated. I would have expected there to be more traffic. I don't know if it's an accurate reflection of the time period. Maybe New Orleans wasn't that heavily populated, or maybe we're traveling early in the morning. I do wish there was more reference to real world events. One of my favorite shows is Mad Men, and that show is set throughout the 1960s. It ends in the early 70s, if I'm not mistaken. And there is an episode about the death of Martin Luther King. Going back to the Bloods book, that event was mentioned by several of the storytellers, and there's one in particular. He said that his first reaction, his first inclination, was to run outside and punch the first white guy he saw. And it's kind of funny in a way, because this fellow was a pretty level-headed guy. He was working for a special Air Force contingent, so he had like a security clearance, and he was working out of the embassy in Saigon. Obviously, he didn't run out and punch someone, but just the fact that that was his first reaction. I think it would have been cool if there was something like that in this game, you know? Like Lincoln sees or hears about the death of Martin Luther King, and because even though he's mixed race, a lot of people perceive him as being black, as Father Ballard mentioned. So maybe it was cool, like, you have a mission just to run out and beat up some white people, but in the end, Father Ballard stops you. Just something like that would have added some uniqueness to the game, and maybe better connected it to the real world. And speaking of TV shows, as I mentioned, Mad Men is great. There's also another TV show called Gomorrah. And it's an Italian show. It started airing 2 years ago, but earlier this summer, it started airing on this side of the Atlantic, basically. And what it does is covers the Camorra. The Camorra are the traditional name of the crime syndicates that are historically based out of Naples, Italy, whereas Mafia are historically traced back to Sicily.
The fuck you doing up here? Help goes into the back.
I'm here to see Mr. Marcano. The name's Lincoln Clay.
That a fact? I'll be goddamned. Mind your manners while you're in there, boy, or there'll be hell to pay, you hear? Park over to the side.
So we are up in this upscale club. I'm gonna park on the garden.
Oh, Lincoln Clay! Christ, man, get a look at you. I bet those fucking gooks shit themselves when they saw you coming.
Been a long time, Giorgi.
Oh, no shit, it's been a long time. I think the last time I saw you was that night over in the French Ward, right before you shipped out. Damn if that wasn't a gas.
Oh, I seem to remember me and Ellis running from the cops. And Danny ending up in the drunk tank.
Hell, man, I bailed him out. Besides, it was worth it to knock the hell out of them cracker assholes. Smoke?
Sure.
Oh, man.
Sammy said Mr. Marcano wanted to see me.
Mr. Marcano? Shit. Make him sound like a goddamn lawyer. You just call him Sal. Come on, he's in the back.
I should have wore something else.
Hey, these squares have a problem with your threads. You can take it up with my old man. He'll tell him to kiss his ass. Nice thing about having fuck you money.
Olivia, I hate to cut this short, darling, but I've got a meeting coming up. Remy, a pleasure as always, sir. 2 more glasses. Lincoln, good to see you. This is Vito Scaletta. He's the one I've been telling you about. Come on, Lincoln, sit down.
So you served in Vietnam, huh?
Yes, sir.
Sal tells me you earned a few pieces of tin over there.
Well, I served with some good men. Nothing I did would have happened without them.
Army? Marines?
Regular Army at first, and then I was recruited to the 5th SFG.
Special Forces?
I told you it was something else. Now, not that anything's gonna go wrong, but just in case, goddamn, don't you want a man like that on your side?
Well, if you're vouching for him, Sal, that's good enough for me. Look, I got a couple things to take care of. Thanks for the drink.
Christ, that guy's an asshole. Fucking carpetbagger. Commission sent him down here from Empire Bay about 15 years back. He's been a pain in my goddamn ass ever since. Well, I guess you're wondering what this is all about.
Yeah, Sammy didn't tell me too much.
Twice a year, the feds take old money out of circulation and destroy it. Over the course of the next few days, that money's gonna be delivered here to the reserve in town.
And you're gonna hit one of those shipments?
No, sir. We are gonna use that occasion to gain access to their vault.
And then steal everything that ain't nailed down. Should be 6, 7 million in there, easy.
That's pretty fucking ballsy.
It's a chance of a goddamn lifetime is what it is.
Now, Vito's fronting a lot of the money for the job, and he got us the combination to the vault. Hey, you had a chance to see Danny?
No, not yet.
Oh, well, you will. We brought him and his old man in on this, and they're gonna need your help, so go see them. They're still in that same place.
There's something else we gotta talk about. Now, it's safe to assume you know about the problem Sammy's been having.
I took care of the Haitians. Once things settle down, money will start coming in again.
You see that right there? That's what I'm talking about. You didn't sit around with your thumb jammed in your ass. You saw a problem, you went out and took care of it. God damn, I'd take that over money any day of the week.
We pay our own way, debts and all. Always have.
Oh, hell, son, I know that. I wouldn't expect otherwise. But you know, even after we all evened up, you're still gonna be slopping around in the ass end of this city. Not much of a future in that. But maybe there's a different way forward, you understand? For all of us.
What'd you have in mind?
I want you to know I mean no disrespect when I say this. Sammy's a hell of a man, but he's not getting any younger. And I'm thinking it's time to make a change.
Well, I don't think that Ellis is ready for that kind
I'm not talking about Ellis. I'm talking about you. I want you to run the holler.
I can't do that.
Well, look here, if you're worried about Sammy, don't, you understand? Now, he's always been on the level with me. And this job we're talking about, there's more than enough for him to retire on.
He took me in when I had nowhere else to go. Treated me like a son. I'm sorry, Mr. Marcano. I can't do that to him.
Well, shit, son. I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't just a little disappointed. But I get it. You're loyal. Which is something that is scarce these days.
Do you still want me to help with this thing we've been talking about?
You goddamn right I do! And when it's all done, you all be more than square with me. You have my word.
What do you really want to hear? That we'd kidnap and torture anyone suspected of working with the VC?
I'm trying to ascertain the level of training that Lincoln Clay received during his time in Vietnam.
Someone like that you don't need to train. You point them in the right direction and get the fuck out of their way.
So I think I heard somewhere that John and Lincoln were involved with the Phoenix program in Vietnam.
Can't see a goddamn thing.
Neither can they. Stay cool. We'll get through this.
Motherfuckers.
Got him. Suspects we gotta box him in.
One interesting thing about the 5th Special Forces Group that Lincoln served with is the 5th Special Forces Group is actually, if I'm not mistaken, the first ever Special Forces Group. The reason why it was named the 5th Special Forces Group was to deceive the Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc as to how many Special Forces Group were in existence. Going back to John Donovan, I think he's a really cool character. I think other people seem to think so too. And he actually kind of reminds me of Sterling Archer. Like a little bit more realistic version of Archer. You know, he's this cocky, waspy kind of guy. And again, I haven't played too far in the game, but from what I can tell, there is like a post-credits scene involving John and Donovan. And I do know that there is going to be DLC planned.
Just worry about the money. I'll deal with this.
They like go after somebody with whom they have history from Vietnam. I think like some kind of mercenary or something. I saw a screenshot and they're like in this kind of jungle. But from what I can tell, it takes place stateside. But going back to Camorra and the show Gomorrah, the show is fictional, but it's based on a non-fiction book. There was a fictional drama of the same name, but the Camorra are... I started hearing about them maybe 6 or 7 years ago. But the Camorra are like far more powerful and far more brutal from what I can tell in terms of like annual revenue. The Mafia are more well known because of movies and games like this one, but the Camorra are, I guess, the real thing. And so the show is pretty good. You might be interested. If you like Mafia movies and shows, I want to check out Gomorrah. I'll leave a link in the description. The acting is really good. The effects for wounds and whatnot are great, although it's a little cliche. And here I am just taking advantage of the unaggressive AI. And our current objective is to defend Giorgi, who I actually think he's not that bad of a guy. I mean, if you've seen the preview trailers, you know the premise of the entire game. But in the previous cutscene, you know, Giorgi comes across as a pretty friendly guy. He obviously has history with Lincoln.
They're trying to flush us out. Stay focused on what you're doing.
Where'd you come from? Shit out of luck for cover! Ain't those the guards claiming to be from Baton Rouge?
How's that feel?
Suspects on the move. Something.
This is a goddamn massacre!
What's he think he's doing?
Bleeding now. God, you think this actually was this house? Hold it, boy. Damn massacre!
So I'm taking lots of damage in this shootout. Even though the AI is pretty brain dead. It's no joke. So 3 times now, on my count, I've been near death.
Goddamn massacre!
And like most games, this game has a mechanic that lets you see through objects. Although it's somewhat limited in that you have to be able to see an enemy first. One thing that I like to see that I've never seen before in a game is like holding a button to cut to a view that shows the enemy from their perspective, kind of like in a movie where like the director shows the inside of the house where guards are located. On the one hand, it would be overpowered, but on the other hand, you'd be totally vulnerable while you're using it.
God damn it, those guards will cut us down the second we make a break for it. Tell Danny he needs to get us out of here.
Hey, these bastards got us pinned down. Y'all need to figure something out.
I got some TNT. I'll put on our side of the hole and detonate it.
What the fuck is that gonna accomplish?
With any luck, it'll blow a hole big enough for y'all to drop down.
With any luck, Danny, do you even know what the fuck you're doing?
Come on, it's dynamite. How complicated could it be? It's lit. Get the fuck away from the hole.
Thanks for watching. New episode coming soon.